Welcome to the Gay Buddhist Forum, where teachers from all schools of Buddhism offer their perspectives on the Dharma and its application in modern times, especially for LGBTQI audiences. These talks are offered freely to the world and made possible by appreciative listeners. If you would like to support our efforts to share the Dharma with underserved audiences, please visit gaybuddhist.org. There you can donate, find a list of upcoming speakers, or enjoy many hundreds of these recorded talks dating back to 1996.
I'd like to explore together what I consider the most beautiful of all the Buddhist practices, which is loving kindness, also called Metta. And maybe I can begin with a scene from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. This is the scene in which Juliet is on a balcony. Romeo is in her garden. Behind the garden is a wall that he has climbed over. And it takes place at night. And let's just consider the two perspectives. So Romeo sees Juliet on the balcony of her house. But Juliet's view is much wider. She sees the garden, Romeo in it, the wall, and beyond the wall, the city of Verona. So she has a wider view. And with this wider view, she says, speaking to him, but it seems like what she's saying goes beyond just two people. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have. The both are infinite. So something has happened, Juliet, something has happened to me that feels bigger than just you and me. It seems like it includes me, the more I have. It seems like it includes you. And it also has a sense of infinity. It has no stopping place. It goes beyond the two of us and reaches out into the entire world. That is the basic meaning of the loving kindness practice. Buddha is basically saying, you have a kind of love in you as a human that is limitless. And if you do love one person, you could maybe have a sense that this love is bigger than the one person that you have these feelings for. It seems like we're not just standing alone either. It seems like we live in a set of concentric circles, and I'm going to show an image on the screen of these concentric circles. The image will help us understand the practice. So the practice is very simple. May I be happy, may those I love be happy, may those to whom I am neutral be happy, and so forth. And it ends with, may all beings be happy. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
So I'm not alone. I ripple out as a human to include all the other humans. Closest to me are my family, friends, partners, my near and dear. It's easy to love them. Most of the time. Then there are people that I see maybe on a daily basis, my neighbor, people upstairs, people downstairs, and I just say hi. And I have a good feeling for these people, but it's certainly beyond my near and dear. But I'm wishing them the same happiness that I'm wishing to the people close to me and that I'm hoping I have myself. Something in me is able to do that. Then I have a circle of people that I see in society. These are the ones who are rejected or excluded by the people who have biases against them. They're marginalized by society, and I want my love to extend to them also. Beyond them are the people that I don't like or don't like me. They might even be harmful to me at times, might even be called enemies. But with them too, I'm present as one who wishes them, aspires for them, the same love that I have for myself, my near and dear, and so forth. And then finally, there are all the beings in the world, both people and animals and nature, all the beings, everything that's alive on the planet and on all planets. And I want this love to extend to them also. Now, I'm not going to show the love in the same way to everyone. Obviously, the way I show love to my near and dear is going to be different from the way I show my love to people far and wide whom I haven't even met. I'm just wishing them the best. But once I get it that my bounty means abundant goodness, my bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to all of these, the more I have, the both are infinite. Once that's part of how I see myself, it becomes possible to do this practice. And in fact, that final circumference, that line up on the top there, after the words all being, that should be a broken line. It should be no circumference. Kind of reminds you of the wonderful definition of God by Nicholas of Cusa, a Renaissance mystic. He said, God is a metaphor for a circle, the center of which is everywhere, the circumference nowhere. So, seeing yourself this way also says something about accompaniment, because you're also accompanying each of these circles of people with this bountiful love that you're offering. Now, you may not feel it in yourself, but if you do the practice on a daily basis, gradually you expand your consciousness so that now when you're watching what's happened with Milton, the hurricane in Florida, you're not watching it as an object on your TV that you're simply gazing at, you're looking at the people and who are in this damaging situation. You're looking at them and saying, may things work out for you. You see, it's establishing a connection that you wouldn't ordinarily think of. Instead of saying, oh, those poor people in Florida. Now you're using the second person instead of the third person grammatically, and you're saying, may you come through this in a way that does not have too much damage on you. So just like to open it up and get your ideas or response to this before I go on. Any ideas or questions? You get the overall concept. Yeah. What is your name?
Steve.
Hi, Steve.
I love the concept. I think early in your discussion, I was thinking of, say, how I feel about my husband versus how I feel about other people. And then I thought, well, sort of, are those different loves? And then I remember the phrase one love. And can you comment on that, the sort of oneness of love? It seems more to fit in Buddhism that way.
Yes, that it wouldn't have any limit, or it doesn't stop anywhere. And a lot of this has to do with really trusting yourself. You've heard the expression, God is love. Would you ever be able to say that about you? I am love. Why not? So it's moving from the special relationship you have to how this has equipped me to be present in the world as one who can love more extensively. That's what you'd be saying. And then you'd have to trust that you could do that. The more I give to thee, the more I have. It's like she gets it, that that I can look through him at this wider world and just have the one love that you mentioned. Somebody else a comment?
Yeah,
Richard.
I have the harmful people, I have a big challenge extending loving kindness to them.
To which people?
The before all beings, the harmful people, the
Oh, yeah.
people that I actually wish were no longer in existence.
Well, that's where you would say, may the best happen for this person without even having to feel it. If you say it enough, it gradually becomes true. Oh, what the heck, I hope he has a good life.
The best thing that should happen is they have a stroke or a heart attack, which is very not heard in Buddhism.
No, that would be the vengeful response. There's no vengeance in this.
Okay. I failed then.
May all work out for the best for you. And this includes candidates. Can you say, may good things happen for both candidates? Rhetorical question, don't have to answer. Somebody else had a
Somebody
comment?
online, Richard, you want to go ahead?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Richard.
Hi. I find with people that are harmful towards other people, in places where there's conflict, especially, if I remember that they are suffering also, that they are suffering just like me, that they want happiness just like me, I may not agree with what their actions are, what they're doing. I may be very much opposed to it, but I recognize that they suffer too, and that they are want happiness too for them and for their family and their loved ones. Um, then I can have compassion for them in that way.
Thank you, Richard. You really made the connection between love and compassion, which is, of course, another practice in Buddhism. Somebody else online have a comment?
I don't think so.
Okay, so,
Oh, I have a question.
oh yeah,
When he says that if you keep practicing it, you will, that you will come to feel the love, even if you
Yeah.
practice it.
or,
that's-
or at least feel like you're not wanting something bad to happen to them. If you could just go that far. That's on the spectrum of love. What's your first name?
Jim. Yeah,
Jim.
No, I don't want good things to happen to them. I just want to feel the love. Yeah, I'll work on it. Thank you.
Yeah, well, let's expand the sense of love. It could be as simple as I want the best for that person. It doesn't have to be, I have all these emotions and attachments and I just can't live without this other person. It doesn't have to be that kind of love. It could be just, it's okay with me that good things happen for him or her or them.
That's sort of begrudging, but I'll
No, it's not begrudging. It's all on the spectrum.
Richo, yeah. Richo here. Yeah, one thing that a friend of mine, who's another kindergarten teacher, the thing that we do is when we have a trouble like the person we're all alluding to, is to think, I want to picture them in kindergarten as a little 5-year-old and what was happening and like, remember they're just, they are just like us. We have those same human tendencies or cravings or aversions, and it's so difficult though because it's so there's so much fear and fear of what could happen and feeling personal attacks from those people. So I like how it says like who's harmful to me or to others. And all I can hope is that if something good happens to those people, that maybe they will be a more gooder person. I don't know. Anyway, so I that's my practice is to think of them in kindergarten at 5, and like something went very wrong.
Yeah, you can. Even when you see someone on TV that you don't like, you can say something like, may you be converted to Buddhism. These are just aspirations, but they change the way you relate to the people in your life circle, which includes political figures. And to believe that everybody can change, that's certainly a reasonable thing to believe, isn't it? Hi, Jerry.
I remember hearing a story years ago about an Indian tribe, I think it's in Georgia, and if someone misbehaves in the tribe, they put him in a circle, and everybody tells him what he's good at and that they love him.
Oh,
So
okay.
that'd be really interesting too.
That would be a perfect example of how to do this practice. So the practice is simple, as you know. It's may I be happy, may those I love be happy, and so forth. Or you could say, may I move toward enlightenment every day. May those I love move toward enlightenment every day, and so forth. So basically, you're expanding your circle of caring. I even thought of this. Let's say the doctor tells you one day that you have some very dangerous illness, and you're kind of worried about it, of course, and you might even say a prayer. May I find healing for this illness. Then from the Buddhist point of view, you would say, and may all the people who have this illness also find healing. So it would never just stop with you. There wouldn't be any prayer that just ends with you. It would always be including everyone. Give us this day our daily bread. It would never be just give me my daily bread and nobody else matters. That's the essence of this practice, that we keep including everyone even when we don't feel it. Yeah, and you are?
Brad.
Hi, Brad.
I think there's kind of like, I'm picturing this, the circles as like a jello, like there's an arc of difficulty, and we focused on how difficult it is to go out to the harmful, but I also think, for me, the easiest is the rejected by bias and the neutral. I find it's easier, and it's a little bit harder even for the near and dear. There's like a qualification, like may they be happy as long as it makes me happy for the near and dear. And of course, the self, I think, is really difficult as well. So I'm kind of envisioning like how, that's kind of how I see it, is this difficulty of doing it not only for the exterior, but also the interior.
So you would sound like this. Though it feels difficult to say this, I am extending love to whoever the person is that you have difficulty with. Though it is difficult for me to say this, I am finding a place in me where love still lives, and from that place, I am wishing the best to that person. So everything is rippling from you to others. And notice how, when I first learned about this practice, I wondered, why is self first? I thought, this should be backwards. It should be starting with all beings and then self at the end. Then I remembered on the airplane, put your own mask on first. Then you'll be able to help others, not vice versa. So this practice also makes it legitimate to love yourself. Love my neighbor as myself. So it must be that you do love yourself, and that same kind of love you're giving to the neighbor. This tells you who is my neighbor, everyone. Any other comments? Okay, well, I put an affirmation together. Would you give these out? Sure. Based on my latest book is called By Your Side, How to Find Soulful Allies and Become One to Others. And this is an affirmation from the book. So I'd just like to walk through it.
There's more up there. Oh.
And also I brought extras, so if you want some for friends, I'll put them on a table outside. Okay. Let's go around and maybe just read one line each. What is your first name?
I'm Michael, but I gotta get my glasses.
Start with Michael, and we're gonna go all the way across, and then we'll start with Brad and go the other way.
Just read one line.
So just one line. Here I'm trying to summarize what we've been talking about, and also enrich it and expand it.
I say yes to everything that happens to me today as an opportunity to give.
Hold it, we're just doing one line each.
Oh, well, okay. I say yes to everything that happens to me today.
As an opportunity.
To give or receive love and to free myself from fear.
I am thankful for the enduring capacity to love.
That has come to me from the sacred heart of the universe.
May everything that happens to me today
Open my heart more and more.
Make all that I think, say, feel, do, and am.
Express loving kindness
towards myself, those close to me, and all beings.
May love be my life purpose, my bliss, my destiny.
My calling.
And the richest grace I can receive or give.
And may I always be a compassionate, assisting force.
Toward people who are considered
Least or last, or who feel alone or lost.
May all of us co-create
a world of justice, peace, and love.
Thank you. And that's where it winds up. You wind up wanting to join with everyone that you've extended this love to. You're wanting to believe that this love you extended to everyone has enriched and equipped them to join you in the central calling that all of us humans have to co-create a world of justice instead of injustice, of peace instead of war, of love instead of hate. Or another way of saying it is, the loving kindness practice has explained to me, has revealed to me why I'm here. Why was I given this lifetime? It's so that I could co-create a world of justice, peace, and love for everyone. That's where this practice turns into something of enormous value for the planet. So it begins with the yes. You have to start with saying yes to whatever happens, not as a happening anymore. Nothing has happened to me today. Everything has been an opportunity. For what? To give love, receive love, and free myself from fear. Imagine thinking of the events of the day that way. See how I'm looking at how I could place everything in a new context. It's not the context of just ordinary living where one thing happens, then another thing happens. It's that everything presents itself as a chance, an opportunity, having to do with loving more and fearing less. Where did I get this enduring capacity to love? It came from the very heart of the universe itself, a sacred heart. This leads me to ask that whatever may happen to me today would somehow open my heart more and more so that I could have that same sacred heart that the universe has. Now I'm making a dedication. I want everything that I think, say, feel, do, and even am to express this loving kindness that I've been practicing in words. I would like to now see it come out as the various actions and choices that I make. And this loving kindness first comes to me, then to those I love, then to the other circles, and finally to all beings. Now I know what my life is about. Now I know my life purpose. It's love itself. That's the essence of bliss. That's what I'm called to as a destiny. And I didn't make it happen. It's a great grace, a rich grace that comes to me and through me. Grace is the gift dimension of the universe. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm so aware that there are other people who are having such a hard time. And I want to be a compassionate, assisting force, a helper, a compassionate person toward all the people who are considered to be the least, or who always wind up last, or who feel so alone, or are totally lost. I want to be present to them in a way that makes contact so that this love that's in me can reach out to them. And of course, finally, all of us, everyone in the whole world joins together and co-creates a world of justice, peace, and love. So I use this every morning as a way to start the day and offer it to you in case you want to do that too. Reflections you have on this? Make sense? Matthew.
Yeah, first of all, David, thank you. This is just really beautifully written.
Thank you.
And going back to that one circle of the people that we have difficulty with, and the people who are actually malignant. No, I'm not naming anybody, but for me, that's always been that practice, expanding the practice up to that circle. For me, has just been an opportunity to let go of hatred in our heart. That it is those people that easily create a reaction of resentment or anger or hatred. And, like the saying goes, those are, well, hatred is one of the three poisons. And, the whole idea of hating somebody is like taking poison and think that it's going to. So it's really, for me, it's about being able to not being, being liberated from harboring those negative feelings.
Very beautifully put. Thank you, Matthew.
Dave, when you were going through this, did I hear you say that grace is the fifth dimension of the universe, or that?
Thinking of, I was saying we could think of grace as the gift dimension.
A gift dimension?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
St. Teresa of Avila had, I think, a very good way of explaining the difference between effort and grace. Because she loved her garden, she said, when I water the plants, that's effort. When it rains, that's grace. A gift that comes to us from beyond ourselves. That's grace. And it happens to everyone. Being here now, this is a grace. It's certainly a grace for me to be able to talk about this with all of you. Something else you noticed in here? Yes.
The section about may love be my life purpose, my bliss, my destiny. It poses a question for me of, is intention, is sort of emitting love adequate? or is part of the practice to actually put it into action, put those feelings into action?
I'm glad you used that word intention, because that's what this is all about. You're placing an intention, and then from the intention, you're moving into action. So if I place the intention every day, may I always be a compassionate, assisting force to those who are considered least or last, I start to become more conscious of the people that I meet who are like that, or even see myself as like that at times. And then I move into, well, how can I somehow be of help? Because compassion is not the same as pity. Pity is, I see you and I feel pity for you, period. Compassion is, I see you, I feel pity for you, and I do something to help you. And Martin Luther King added something even more, which I certainly appreciate. He said, when you show compassion for somebody who has been harmed by something happening in the world around him or her or them, always also include, I want to do something to change the world that created this damage. So not only do I feel compassion toward you, and I'm showing it by doing something that is caring towards you, but also I want to look into what happened in society to put you in this position. That's his addition to compassion. See how everyone who has higher spiritual consciousness thinks in ripples. There's no period. It's not just about the condition that this poor soul is in. It's also about the society that made it happen this way. And so my work is not just to help you, it's also to confront the injustice that made this happen. That's the co-creating a world of justice, peace, and love. Did I answer what you brought up? Yeah. So if you start to think of it as, I'm placing an intention, it's easier to do the practice. Like what Richard brought up, it's hard to think of extending love to somebody who's been so mean to you or who hates you. But if you think of it as, well, at least I can place the intention that somehow a change will occur, a transformation between us and in the other person and in me. And you could only do this if you had hope. Now that I think of it. Other ideas or questions?
I'd like to tag on to what you said earlier to and the world who created that.
Yeah.
How can we change the world that created him that
Yeah.
way? Like how?
Yeah, and that won't be the act of it. The act of the individual is, I see your plight, I feel for you, and let me help you in any way I can. That's individual. But when you go to the next one, which is, and how can I make a difference in this society that created such injustice, then you can't act alone. Then you're going to join whatever group is working on that. That's too much to ask. It's too much to ask that you be the one to make an enormous change in society. But there's always a group, especially where we live here in San Francisco. There's always a group somewhere that's working on the project. And so I want to join with them. Even if the only way to join is to make a contribution. You don't have to be out there in the picket line. You could just do something that shows that you care. So let's go back to what Juliet said. My bounty, the amount of goodness I have to give. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have. The both are infinite. That a human could say that is the basis of hope in humanity. How are we doing on time?
Good, we can have 5 more minutes or...
Okay. Any final comments or questions? Aristotle has a statement which was then quoted later by St. Thomas Aquinas. Goodness can't help but spread itself around. He said that. He noticed. Goodness can't help but spread itself around. Simple example. You see a really good movie. I know what you're going to do. You're going to tell all your friends. The same thing all of us do. You're spreading the good word, the good news. You want other people to enjoy what you enjoyed. That's the loving kindness practice. You didn't let it stop with you. When you left the theater, you didn't say, I'm not going to tell anybody about this movie. You wanted to tell everybody. Goodness can't help but spread itself around. Or another way of saying it is, you can't help but do this practice. But so many things have gotten in the way. Such as, not trusting the vast possibilities in us. Being full of fear and inhibition, being selfish, being greedy, what in Buddhism are called the 3 poisons of enlightenment: greed, hate, and ignorance. When we're caught in those, then we just can't believe that this is possible. And, I'm there too. And the only way I can do it is just speak as if it were true. And if you say it long enough, you're going to believe it and do it. Well, I like to end with this short poem by Edwin Markham, which kind of pulls together what we've been talking about. They drew a circle to shut me out, called me heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and brought them in. Thank you all.